Hey guys, it's Matt. Welcome to Speed Tutor, and if you've been following along on all the Unity news which has been in the past few days, whether it's on this channel or other places, you may have seen the poor choice of words by Unity CEO John Riccitiello, and I know he's not a popular figure around the world. He has given a formal apology on his Twitter account, and we're going to look at all the details today. You can give me an opinion down below on whether you consider it sincere or not. It first came about because he did an interview along with another executive at Unity on PocketGamer.biz, which is more of a business side around games rather than it being specifically focused around developers. They were talking about their merger with IronSource and what that will bring to them and allow them to do, and they were specifically talking about mobile development. And as everybody knows now, and when it comes to mobile development, you could be in a basement somewhere in the other side of the world, you can make a game and it become famous. Now the problem is, tens of thousands of mobile games find themselves on the stores at any one time, all of the time, and it's hard to get yourself seen and get yourself to the top. So with the acquisition that they've got now is by creating something that they call a live engine, which will give critical feedback early in creation for you to get a standpoint of what your users are actually looking for. And this can give you a leg up in terms of looking at the analytics of how you want to structure your game. But I think where it starts getting misconstrued is the idea of monetization, and some developers not being keen on it to adopt it at an early stage. John does go to say that he's met some brilliant minds when it comes to games creation and all of that sort of stuff. And he said that some of the most beautiful people that he's ever met, but there's some of the biggest idiots. And I think that's a really bad use of language from him. I feel as if I understand where he's coming from in regards to, let's say you're an artist or you've got a group of artists who are on your team and you're the programmer, and those artists say to you, I want you to create this feature, and you go, well, it's going to take me about 3 or 4 weeks to do it. And they go, what do you mean? It's only this one little thing. Why is it going to take so long? This is easy. And really, just because they think that it's easy doesn't mean that it is. So I guess what he's trying to say is that just because you're an amazing developer doesn't mean that you factor in many things. As with many game developers, they forget about advertising their game, and you have to advertise from the very start that you start. You can't just advertise it at the end and hope people will buy it. And that's just not a good strategy to use. But needless to say, I'm not defending the choice of words. It's very important. Nobody public speaking should ever speak those words, especially not a CEO of a massive company that public faces developers who use the actual product. But we'll go into some of the tweets that he mentioned in regards to this and look at what he's apologized as well. And he said in a follow-up tweet from this that it was taken out of context and, it looks worse than it is. But in his formal apology, he did say, I want to talk about both what he said in the interview and the follow-up tweet. I'm going to start with an apology. My word choice was crude. I'm sorry, I'm listening and will do better. What I can do perhaps is provide more on what I was thinking when I did the interview, what I would have said if I had taken greater care. First, I have a great respect for game developers. The work they do is amazing. The creativity can be incredible, whether it be AAA console, mobile, or an indie game designed to be played by millions, or a game made by just the sheer amount of joy. Second, one thing I've seen is that most developers work extremely hard and want people to actually play their game, and secondly, to enjoy it, and when appropriate, for players to engage deeply in the game itself. And for the game devs I've worked most closely with, there is often an anxiety about whether players will love and appreciate all the hard work that's gone into making it. Third, sometimes game developers want is a handful of friends to enjoy their game, art for the sake of art. Other developers want players to buy their games, game items, and they want to make a living out of the game that they've made. Both of these motivations are noble. Fourth, what I was trying to say and clearly failed at saying is that there are better ways for game developers to get an early read on what players think of their game, to learn from the feedback, and if the developer wants, to adjust the game based on feedback. And this is a choice to listen and act upon what you've listened to. Again, both are very valid choices. If I had been smarter in choosing my words, I would have said just this: we are working to provide developers with tools so they can better understand what players think, and it is up to them to act or not based on this feedback. Whether you take it as sincere or not, or whether you take the article out of context, it did seem like they match up to an extent, but again, I would say that the choice of words, as he admitted himself, was not the best way to go around it. We'll see what happens with Unity in the future and what tools they decide to implement based on this specific information. And you can check out my other 2 videos on the Iron Source merger, the information on that, and the dropping of Gigaya, which is a big shame. So thank you so much for checking out this video. Don't forget to check out my Patreon to get access to over 145 different scripts, assets and projects you cannot find anywhere else. Do come and check out my great assets on the Unity Asset Store along with great savings on my website. Thank you to all my patrons, including Peter Steiner, Raheem Whitaker, Jean Pommier, Manos Beracast, Terence Conrad, Gage Linston, Walter Dunstan, Joseph Newman, René Leisure, Darren M, Topher Chambers, Ishak Simane, Gary McGee, Christian Sellant, Skaya, Benjamin Shankel, HK, Amanda Ditami, Alex Shen, William M, Jiraiya Sensei, and Kreshnik Halili. Thank you to everybody else who comes to watch the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Cheers.